All right, folks, it is debate night. Saagar and I are both extremely excited and also extremely excited for our live coverage. Make sure you check that out on our YouTube channel. Huge stage, 12 candidates up there. We wanted to just take a minute to kind of go through what each of them needs to do. Not necessarily what they're going to do, but what do they need to do.
Yeah, I mean, going down the list here, we can start with Joe Biden. Joe Biden is consistently starting to, he hasn't lost a lot of ground, but has not gained any of the ground that he needs to.
Right.
If he wants to maintain that front runner status, he's got to do a couple of things. A, somebody's going to ask him about Hunter Biden. He needs to knock that answer out of the park. I don't think it's going to go that well because it's a very touchy subject for Biden. But what he really needs to do is just show some energy and some actual potential of leadership if he were to actually become, because that's the main thing, right? His entire candidacy is built upon the electability stool. And the polling that I'm looking at says that more and more and more that his electability concerns via Trump are going up amongst Democratic voters. And when you base your candidacy only on that, then you really are going to have a hard time.
Well, and the challenging thing for Biden is that his fate is sort of not in his own hands.
Right.
Like, he can answer the Hunter Biden thing however he answers it. He's been answering. He's obviously sort of like, there's absolutely nothing wrong. He's very adamant. He's very defensive. Question is if anybody else on the stage is going to go after, or are they going to give him cover, right? I think that's the big thing. Moving on to Warren and Sanders, look, I think Sanders needs to have a big night, and frankly, I think he will have a big night tonight because the media has so lowered the bar of expectations. You know, normally after all the other debates, he's had good debate performances. They basically just ignore him, or they say, oh, he was too angry. Oh, he's just saying the same thing over and over again. Well, this time around, they've set the bar so low, making it seem like, you know, he's on his deathbed and needs to drop out, right? Yeah. When he comes out strong, which he looks strong in these interviews he's been giving, I think they are going to have to acknowledge that he really came to play.
He's got to come out strong, specifically against Elizabeth Warren. He has got to start getting some of these voters which are peeling off from the outer edges. So as the Tom Steyers, the Cory Bookers, the Castros, the Klobuchars all start to fold, he's got to start making that case to all these voters which all currently seem to be consolidating around Elizabeth Warren. Now look, demographically, Warren always had the advantage there because of these upper middle class white liberals who a lot of these people have been supporting. But Sanders, if he wants to become the Democratic nominee, he's got to show some contrast, and he's got to actually start to get some of these voters. He's got to
show contrast with both Warren and Biden. Exactly. We saw him preview that with Warren for the first time over the weekend. That's a huge deal because he really has not wanted to do that. It's very uncomfortable for him. For the first time, he's making that case. And the other thing with him is, as we've talked about, he and Biden have a lot of overlap in their coalitions. So he's got to go strong against Biden too, and make it so that he's the person who inherits Biden voters if they do start to peel off.
What do you think for Warren, Krystal? Because I'm of two minds about this. Like, A, she could just keep doing what she's doing, right? As long as, assuming Bernie doesn't fully go after her, assuming Biden remains the main target of the night, all she needs to do is just sit up there and siphon off the votes from the lower ends of the stage. So it may not actually be in her favor to start going after other candidates. You might start to see a little bit more of a contrast with President Trump, calling out the corruption and all of that, trying to behave like a front runner. And I'm not sure that's a bad strategy, actually.
She does not need to have a breakout performance.
Right.
She just needs to perform ably. But that's not going to be easy because this is the first time that she comes in as a real front runner. Now, I doubt the debate moderators are going to give her anything that's too challenging to deal with. But you got Tulsi Gabbard back on the stage. You got Kamala Harris. You got a lot of, I mean, Kamala, of all people, really needs to take a bite out of Warren's voters because her voters, Kamala's voters, by and large, have moved over to Elizabeth Warren. So this will be the first time that Warren will have a lot of fire trained on her. And she doesn't always do well when she's not prepared to answer the question, not prepared for the particular line of attack.
That's the real issue. So, you know, even Kamala Harris could come after her Elizabeth Warren. And frankly, it would be very smart to do so.
I would tell
her voters
are
the ones who that she is losing. If Kamala were to go after Elizabeth Warren, particularly, you know, yesterday was, what was it, Indigenous Peoples Day, Columbus Day, and Elizabeth Warren put out a statement. I mean, any attacks on Elizabeth Warren's
Democrat is going to touch that, though.
They should. They really should. Because that, I mean, if you really want to see Kamala the cop going after, using her identity politics politics the way she did against Joe Biden, that would be the time to do so. But I mean, Pete Buttigieg also actually kind of falls into this category, which is he's trying to contrast with Joe Biden. He doesn't even seem to understand the game he's playing. He's not running against Joe Biden. He's running against Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris, and he's losing.
Well, and bizarrely, once again, was like attacking Beto O'Rourke, who's like down at like 2% in the polls or whatever.
Siphon off is like 6 people.
Doesn't make any
what's
sense.
What's going on here?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is the case that Buttigieg made to the people of Biden centrism, but younger. Nobody was interested in it because, frankly, people aren't supporting Biden because of his centrism.
Right,
they're supporting him because of the legacy. They're supporting him because of this, like, let me just go back to a time that was more normal. So they're not, they're not looking for an alternative to him.
And Andrew Yang, I mean, here on the side, I mean, only, a couple steps away from the center of the stage, he's just got to talk. That's his main problem, right? Like,
he's just got to
needs
be
to
himself.
talk more. Yeah, he is authentic, but he's got to butt in there a little bit more. I mean, this is the greatest opportunity that he'll have, right? Like, millions of these people have put him on the stage. They gave him $10 million. He's blown all their expectations out of the water. He's phenomenal in studio, on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
On the debate stage, though, he's not willing to stand up to a lot of these other candidates. And when you have such a bold vision, it's actually on you to fight and to make sure that your voice is heard. So I think that's on him.
The big thing that he has going for him is the Yang gang.
Right.
Because you can guarantee they will make his name trend regardless of what he does debate night. And, last time around, he announced his freedom dividend plan.
It did very well.
And, Mayor Pete laughed at him. The pundits said this was like a carnival barker. And then, but Americans responded incredibly positively.
Yeah.
The thing, when Andrew is at his best, I think, is he is the only person on the stage who really has a sense of humor.
Yeah,
he has great moments
and he
that
makes
are
fun
funny.
Of the system. Yeah.
He makes fun of the system. He makes fun of himself. I mean, those are really good self-deprecating moments for him that help him stand out. Then we've got a bunch of sort of struggling centrist-y kind of candidates. You've got Beto, you've got Klobuchar, you've got Booker, you've got Harris, you've got Steyer now on the stage. Basically bought his way out of the stage. That'll be interesting. But, these candidates, they thought that there was a need to have an alternative to Biden, another centrist alternative to Biden. Klobuchar has tried to make it out like she's the real electable one. But they're just not breaking through. They don't have a vision that's exciting. And people that like Biden, they like Biden. They've already got Biden.
Not differentiated.
Yeah.
And the main thing is, look, Tom Steyer, Andrew Feldman said it best on this show when he said that he's going to be the Bill de Blasio. He's going to be screaming from the sidelines about impeachment, about whatever. And it's just going to be one of those most irrelevant. I mean, they're going to set up a fight between him and Joe Biden. It's like nobody in America wants to see that.
Right.
Literally no one.
It's an awkward time to be a billionaire running in a Democratic primary. That's not
true.
a great, that's just
a bad look.
Challenging place. And then, so on the wings, you've got the fighters.
Yeah, that's right. Tulsi and Julian Castro,
who are not afraid to come for anyone on that stage.
That's the main thing. And Tulsi, in particular, look, she's doing really well in these early states. A couple polls over 5% or something in Iowa. And this is a great time for her. Syria's in the news, right? I mean, she has been consistent on this from the very beginning. She needs to use her military veterans card to draw a contrast with every single other person on the stage and really set the standard for what it means and the standard for what it will be if you're going to be the next commander-in-chief of the United States.
There has been so little discussion in any of these debates about foreign policy, and I get it. Look, we talk a lot about domestic policy on our show as well, but if you are going to be the president, this is the area that you have the most power over, the most responsibility. Syria, obviously a huge deal, a huge crisis unfolding there. Tulsi Gabbard is sort of singularly equipped to speak about that from a place of principle and moral positioning and put that center stage. And also, by the way, challenge some of the other candidates, including Elizabeth Warren, who have not been challenged on what they would do as commander-in-chief.
And I really want to see her also go after the New York Times moderators for that smear of an article they put out over
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Just proving her point on why she wanted to skip the debate.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And Julian, we'll see if he comes for Joe again.
I hope so.
I'm sure it will be a lot of fun. We're excited to watch it with you. Like I said, we're doing live coverage. It's our first time ever. So watch, let us know what you think, and we'll see you all back here later today.
See you later.